Hey, it's Tony with lidl.doodle. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Today's video, I am going to do some ink swatching of a company that I have just started ordering inks from, and I quickly went from 1 bottle to 6 because I absolutely enjoy these inks. The company is the Birmingham Pen Company, and with each order they include these very distinguished envelopes, very pretty. They have a little blurb about their company. It's 2 guys. They are a tiny manufacturer, and their inks are just fantastic. And then they give you these little postcards and like, hey, write somebody a note, and then this super cute little paper clip. So anyway, I just wanted to spend some time swatching some inks. It's a kind of a relaxing activity. Lets me play with my fountain pens, with my dip pen, and so I just thought I would share these inks with you. So when I go to swatch my inks, currently I'm using this as my ink notebook. It's a GLP Creations, and the model or whatever is the author. I think I got this maybe off Amazon or maybe off the GLP website. I don't know that I would pick this notebook again, and here's why. If you can hear this, it gets just kind of crinkly, so that just kind of pushes on me a little bit, but it holds up pretty well. Not a lot of bleeding, and I've done some pretty intensive ink swatching on here, but you can just hear that that's kind of crinkly and it's a little bit annoying. So I don't know if I would use this exact notebook for inks again, which is fine. It's not a super thick notebook, and I'm close to the end. I just have about that much left before I fill it, so I will be fine. I use to do a big swatch a speedball nib. I don't know what size this is. It came in a pack. These are super cheap, and I got this holder, both of these things off Amazon, like, I don't know, 10 bucks or something, super cheap. And then for the writing, I use a Kakimori nib and a whatever that brand is, I think it's still Kakimori, nib holder. This is a little more spendy. I'm actually looking forward to getting a custom nib holder at the San Francisco Pen Show from River City Pen Co. So I'm going to be replacing this. It cracked pretty quickly. And if you've seen my other videos where I've talked about this nib, it's kind of like the bane of my existence. I just can't get the hang of it, so I just keep working on it. So yeah, so that's how I get the ink onto the notebook. I obviously, to wash my nibs off between inks, I use these little bottles for watercolor and ink. They're tiny. They're actually they're little baby moonshine bottles that, you know, when you go to the liquor store, they have like the little tiny section. Every time I've ever gotten like something that is a glass bottle, I keep it. And then the other one I use is, this is full of water already. I won't tip it over, but this was like a garlic, little minced garlic jar. So those are the things that I use for ink swatching. So I'm going to just showcase the 6 inks that I have pretty quickly, hopefully. The first one is called Firebox, and this does not have any shimmer. We just saw it on the website, and I just thought it was such a beautiful color, so we picked it up. And this isn't the first ink that I got from Birmingham, but I am saving the first 2 inks that we got from Birmingham for last because they are the most fantastic. But this is just a really pretty fall color. I have this in a dark orange Twisby, and I really like it. Get a little bit more down there. So it does do a little bit of shading once it dries. And it's just a super pretty color. It's funny, when I first started in the fountain pen hobby about 10 years ago, I did not know anything about inks. For my first pen, I got my pen and then I was like, oh, I need to order some ink. I just went on Amazon and I bought some random, I think I bought like India ink, which is not fountain pen friendly. And I stuck it in my first fountain pen and almost ruined my fountain pen. So fortunately, my husband kind of came to my rescue and got all of the ink out, and we cleaned it, and I learned my lesson. So since then, I've been a little bit smarter with the inks that I put in my fountain pen, and I would have never guessed that I would be just as in love with the different inks that as I am with fountain pens in general. You can buy samples of inks a lot of times. A lot of the retailers will do samples, which is a great way to test out inks. Personally, I just kind of jump right in because if I'm going to get an ink that I like, I want a full bottle of it. And if it gets to me and I end up not using it very much, or it maybe doesn't show up on my paper with my pens like I want it to, I use it at school in my art class. We'll do ink monsters and I'll use it for watercoloring or Zentangling or other just kind of inky projects. So this one is Antique Sanguine, or Sanguine, I don't know how to say that. This one was a little bit of a disappointment once I put it in a pen. Like, it is just beautiful on the swatch, but once I got it in a pen, it just wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be. But I think I probably just need I need to put it in a pen maybe with a double broad, something that will spit out a lot of ink. So let's see. And you can see with this Kakimori nib, it's kind of cool because it's just, it puts down different line variation depending on how I'm holding the pen. It's just more, I don't want to say user error, but just getting the hang of it and being consistent, because sometimes it'll glop down ink. Okay, the next one, so their bottles kind of vary, but this is a really cool bottle. It's salamander, and it's got this fun art on the front. This is a really big bottle, and it has a dropper, I guess to make it easier if you have a pen that needs filled up with a dropper, if you want to do larger drops on a surface. But it, again, no shimmer or sheen, but it is just a super rich, kind of dark, bluish teal, kind of, when it dries, it's almost a little hint of gray. It's got some shading properties, and it's just super pretty. I actually have this in my Jonathan Brooks custom and with a double broad, and I just really like that ink. So this is that just glopped. just think that's such a pretty blue, and I was really gravitating towards kind of more fall colors once we started ordering from this company, because we tend to get a lot of inks that are flashy and kind of in your face and lots of shimmer, which I love, but I also want to have some calming, I don't know, calming, that's kind of dumb, just some nice fall colors. So this one is Silhouette. Not the most exciting ink. This is just a really solid gray black. Once it dries, you'll be able to see it. It does dry kind of more gray. It looks pretty dark here. And again, we don't tend to have a lot of boring colors, or just normal colors, I guess, because we just really like to have fun with our ink. So this is just good to have, you know, as a plain dark ink, maybe for an everyday writer or something that I would have in my purse, you know, if I need to sign something. So that is, oh, I missed an E. Silhouette. Oh, that's ugly. And all right, so we are down to my absolute favorite two inks from this company. This one is called Sugar Kelp, and it does not have any shimmer in it, which is kind of unusual for me, but I feel like if fall was an ink, this would be the ink. It is so pretty, and it dries so nicely, and it's just funky. I just love the shading, and I actually have this in, what pen do I have this in? I have it in my Sailor Pro Gear Slim. This is the Moroccan Mint Tea, and it is just such a great ink for that pen. So, oh, and it's a pretty wet ink. You can kind of see how it glopped really easily there. So that is Sugar Kelp, and I just adore that ink. It's just so pretty. I want to find other uses for it. I will probably do some watercoloring with it, and maybe some Zentangling. And then finally, the last ink that I'm going to share from Birmingham Pen Co. is Interstellar Bronze. And I can't even describe this ink and what it does. I'm just going to have to show you. It comes in the big bottle, just like the Salamander. And it is just unlike any other ink that I have. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. So you think, oh, that looks a lot like the Sugar Kelp. But we're just going to give it a second, and I'm going to show you what it does once it dries, because it is just unreal. Why my hand is so shaky. Interstellar Bronze. Okay, so I don't know if you can see what it is doing as it's starting to dry. I'm going to hold this up here in just a second. but it's almost metallic. And I will show you a dried, I've been just playing around with this Zentangle using this ink that I have in one of my Benus, and it's smeared a little bit, but I'm going to show you. Look at that. So it's kind of metallic once it dries. It is so incredible. So anyway, yeah, it's just, I could look at that all day. It's so pretty. Anyway, so those are 6 lovely inks from the Birmingham Pen Co. I will put a link to their website in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Otherwise, go get yourself some fountain pen ink and have some fun. Have a great day. Bye.